So you can go through and you can send this. This is the message this is going to be. And then if you go back here, you'll be able to see all the different scenarios that you've run while you've had this client. So I can see, like, I sent her one on 5/14 and all the different scenarios that I've created and sent to her. So you'll be able to see that. You can also run a purchase analysis. It's very similar to the refinance analysis. You'll be able to customize the disclosure in here as well for the refinance or the purchase one. So if you want a very customized disclosure, you can do that. Or you can just leave the default one that we have here for equal opportunity housing. So, okay, the next step that we're going to talk about is scheduled email reports. So how you're going to do scheduled email reports is you're going to pop over to mortgages, okay? And you're going to see the hourglass here. So this is our select to search. So let's say I want to look at all the leads that I've had over the last 30 days. So I can scroll down here to that section. And I can say, look, I want to go with, I could go with specific dates, but in this case, I just want to go with the last 30 days. Click search. It's going to pull up all the lead reports. So I'm going to call this report leads. Okay, and I want to save this as a scheduled email report. You're going to pick who you want it to go out to. So I want it to go out to myself. The occurrence, I'd like that to go out daily at 10 a.m. and I want it to start on this date. I click apply. Now I can always go over here and see my scheduled reports. And these are all the different reports. This is the one we just did. But these are all the different reports we've got in the system running that'll automatically email you updates, stuff like that. Okay. Next one we've got is email constructor. So we're going to go to marketing in this step, and we're going to jump over to any campaign. So we're going to pop into a campaign here, and we're going to go in and add a step. So within add a step, we're going to select email. And in here, you'll see this email, use email constructor. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to decide like what we want. So I just want to do text. And with Maya, I'm able to do text and pictures. So I can go in here and say, I want to insert something here, and I want to use Maya right here. And let's start with an image. So I can tell Maya, and ask her to search for an image of a home.
Oops. Hmm.
And then it'll come up with like an image like this. And then I could insert this one right into the system. And it'll ask you if you want to crop it, what you want to do with it, but I can pop that right in. So I can add that in there. And I could click apply. And now maybe in this other part, I want to edit some text, and I want to use Maya again. And I can go in here and I say, you know what, I want to write some text. And I'll use this last one that I wrote. So I like to be very specific with Maya and tell her, like, look, 7 sentences or 5 sentences, because she may run on and give you all kinds of stuff. So I can apply that in there. And then I can go in here and I can save this as a template if I was done with it. So I could save as a new template. I can name it. Do I want it to be available to everybody, or do I want it to be available just to myself? And then do I want it in specific groups if you have those? Click apply. And now I've saved that template. Next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to jump into is going to be web forms that we have in the system, how you're going to capture leads with those web forms. So if I pop over here, we're going to go to options. You can see it right here at the top, but if for some reason it's not at the top, you'll be able to see it over here. In web forms. So I can pop in there and I can always create a new web form right here. These are all the web forms that you already have in your system. If I want to add a new form, I decide, do I want to add it to the mortgage databases? Do I want to add it to the partners? Do I want to add to the recruiting database? So let's say I want to add it to the mortgage database. Okay. So I'm going to say the form name is DSCR. I'm gonna keep it public so everybody can see it. I want them to go into leads. I also want them to go into an active lead group. So this is going to go into the pipeline view of the database. This is going into the group view. The next you can do is decide the buttons that you want on the page. Do you want it to show thank you, or do you want it to go to a specific website after they're done? And then we're going to go into how do we build the form. So, first thing I want is, I want the borrower's first name. I want to add that. And the next thing I'd like to have the borrower's last name. I want to add that. And now maybe I want to add cell phone. See what else? Email. Click add. Now you can always make these required fields if you want. So I can pop in here and say, look, you can't fill out the form without these being a required. Okay, I can click which template I want. I want this one right here. I can then go in here. Here's our form that we just built. If I click these right over here, I can go in and I can view the code. So this is what the form's going to look like for them clicking through. I can do just the HTML code. I can copy that code, and then I can go to my website and I can put that code in the background of the website, and it's going to push that form right into the system. And like I said, I'm going to add the links for an in-depth training on this one especially, and I'll add those to the chat right before the end. The next thing that we're going to jump into is we're going to jump into database organization. So we're going to go over to let's just go to mortgages. So in mortgages, there's 3 ways to look at the database. You've got the group view, you've got the pipeline view, and you've got the custom view. So for this instance, we're going to talk about the custom view. And in the custom view, maybe I want to go in and see my settings here. And I want to look at the different types of loans that I have going. So I can click apply. Okay, so let's look at my conventional. And maybe I want to select the whole group here. And I want to start a campaign for that group. You can do that right in here. And maybe I want to do a refinance campaign. So I could grab that campaign, click start. Now that would start that campaign for the whole group. And maybe I want it to go out at, let's go out at noon, just in case if I have East Coast or West Coast people. Other things that you'll be able to do is you can manage your groups. So if I go in any borrower, I can manage the groups in here for my system. So if I go into contact info, these are all my groups. I can click in here and manage. And let's say I want to add a DSCR. Okay, and I want that group to be, okay, I can take that. Now that's going to update my groups. And I want that group to show up in clients only. I'm going to update that again. So now when I go back to mortgages, and I go to my group view, here's that DSCR group we put in there. And then you can put people into the DSCR group as you go. Okay. So I'm going to put those links in the chat now. And like I said, we'll also put them in the video when we add it to the system. There's one more thing that I'm going to talk about today, and that's the Maya sidebar. So in the Maya sidebar, you'll be able to go in here and ask specific questions like, so I told it to show me all my new leads for this week. So it quickly went and found 43 leads, and I can go through and click if I want to see the specific lead itself and click more info. And it's going to take me in my system to that borrower itself. So it's just another way that you can go in and see what's going on in the system. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions now. Does anybody have any questions on stuff? If they could put it in the chat, that'd be great. Okay. Oh, hold on. How do I access? How you access everyone's templates in the web manager, it depends on what your settings are set up. So, so if your settings aren't set up so that everybody can see everybody's templates, you need to talk to your administrator on. Does Maya? No, Maya comes with every system. So everywhere you see the robot in my system, Maya is there. So yeah, you just need to change your templates from public or from private to public. So if you're saving them as private, you just need to go in there and edit them and save them as public. So like if I go back to the email constructor again, let's go back to marketing. Let's go back to another step, email. So when you save it here, you're going to change this from private to public. And I can follow up with you afterwards, Stephen, and send you that. Is there a list of most popular gems? Yeah, so the list I put into the chat, if you scroll up in the chat, those are all the different hidden gems that we have. And this is a more detailed training on those that we already have on our website. So we wanted to give you an overview in this call so that you could see that. What package is TOIS? I don't know what TOIS package is this. Standard package. It's not an upgrade. We're looking at the package that rolls out for everybody when they sign up with BNTouch. We're not, these aren't add-ons. Ursula, I can follow up with you on that afterwards. Thank you. Be in touch. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming on today.